Peace and love. Welcome back. Hope everybody's staying blessed. Back in the rainforest. Have you ever had a dream that felt like a vision? Obviously, the difference between a dream and a vision being that a vision supposedly happens while you're awake. A dream happens when you're asleep. But have you ever had one of these dreams that felt like a vision, that felt like you were receiving a message or having contact with somebody from your past or from the future? When we talk about our reality changing, last week we spoke about the Mandela effect, and I pointed out a couple areas in the Bible where things have changed. We talked about a few examples in our reality where things have changed. But never mind the theories and all that kind of thing. Let's just focus on what we know. We know through artificial intelligence, we know through the speed of computing that our reality is changing. Everybody has a profile, everybody has social media, and this allows us to augment our profiles. We've all seen these apps where people can put filters on their pictures and add, they got a butterfly on the picture, or maybe they got a mouse face on the picture, or there's new apps now where a man can put a filter onto his face and see how he'd look as a woman, or a woman could put a filter on her face and see how she'd look as a man. So however you want to look at it, things are changing. It's becoming fluid. How you present yourself is becoming fluid. How you live is becoming fluid. Even your experience with technology. There's glasses now where you can augment your reality. You can be sitting there in courtside seats with these glasses on. So with technology, we see these changes coming. A gentleman came to Vancouver about 2 years ago named Gordie, and he is one of the, I guess you could say, major players in this whole quantum computing game. And we know that this is where all of the highest level AI comes from. And I listened to this guy give a presentation here, and he was talking about as AI develops and as it grows, how basically we're unleashing the demons, is the way that he put it. And so this is what's going on. We see what's going on, but I wanted to reflect on the past, looking at the Bible just as if it was a book of history. Whether or not you believe that, we know there's predictive elements of the things that we're seeing now. However you want to put it, there is most definitely predictive elements of dimensional changes, reality changes. When we look at the Bible, for me, there's three books that really stand out. There's a fourth book, the book of Enoch, but that's not in most people's Bibles. We'll deal with that in a minute. But the three books are the book of Ezekiel, the book of Daniel, and the book of Revelation. The reason I call these three books the ones that I really love to look at, these are the three books that deal with, in my opinion, that really deal with visions and dreams. We have in the book of Ezekiel, we have him having this vision, this seeing this chariot of God, right, with these wheels, Ezekiel's wheel. We see these visions of these creatures that he's having, creature with the head of an eagle, the head of a lion. We see these visions of interdimensional beings, and a lot of it is predicting things that will come in the future. When we look at Daniel, we know most definitely it's a predictive book when we're talking about the decoding of Nebuchadnezzar's dream. So Daniel, he comes in, he decodes this dream, and this dream, when we talk about dimensional shift, changes in our reality, is all about dimensional shift. He goes through the statue with all the different metals, right, that are supposed to equate over to the different empires, the ages of empires. So it's talking about a predictive element of changes in the dimensions, changes. And then, of course, in the book of Revelation, we just hit it out of the park with the visions of John of Patmos, and he's talking about so much. He's talking about the mark of the beast. He's talking about Gog of Magog. Now, many people, when you start really studying this and looking at this deeply, will say that the mark of the beast is artificial intelligence basically being infused into our bodies, us becoming one with the beast. And so therefore the mark would be microchipping, or just the way that we're all tied into social media, the way we're tied into the artificial beast, we're tied into the algorithm. So when we look at the revelations, when we talk about predicting dimensional changes, I think that these books are foundational in these kind of shifts. When we talk about the mark of the beast, when we talk about Gog of Magog, who is this? Is this a group of people? Is this artificial intelligence? What is this? Well, it obviously, whatever you think it is, or whoever you think it is, whether you think it's a group of people or whether you think it's a group of ideas, it is something that deals with shifts and changes in our dimensions, in our reality, the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven. Whether you believe the kingdom of heaven is within, like I do, or whether you believe the kingdom of heaven is without, that is a dimensional shift. This New Jerusalem that they talk about in Revelation, this city, this crystal city. Well, we can look in the head. We know that there's 22 bones in the skull. These equate nicely to the 22 books of Revelation. And when we talk about these crystals, there's all these crystals mentioned: lapis lazuli, sapphire, amethyst. The list goes on. You can read them for yourself. But these crystals, they say, can be found within us. And so could this dimensional shift, this New Jerusalem, this kingdom of heaven that is talked about in Revelation, be a dimensional shift within us? That's what takes me back to the dream. So I asked the question at the beginning, have you had a dream that feels like a vision? Have you ever had a vision? Have you ever tapped in and been like, whoa, I got a revelation or a message of something that I need to do, something I need to say, or somewhere I need to go? The reason that I'm talking about visions and dreams when we're dealing with changes in our reality, dimensional shift, artificial intelligence confusing our reality, the fabric of our reality being played with, as these things happen more and more, which we know they will, the AI is only going to get stronger to the point where you will be able to augment your reality to a point where many people will have no incentive to ever leave the house. Many people already don't, because everything they ever wanted to see or feel will be able to be provided. Those feelings and those visions will be provided by artificial intelligence. So as this change happens in our reality, it's my belief that we are going to have to tap into our dreams, into our visions. They say that our dreams are just our brain processing the experiences of our day while we're asleep, making sense of them. But whether it's a vision or a dream that's making sense of the things happening in your day, while you're in that state, you jumped out of this realm. You're in between realms. That's why in your dream you can fly. Same thing when you really tap into your imagination. It's the same thing. You jumped out of this realm. And when we talk about visions, some of the most deep visions come from children because they're so tapped into that imagination. So it's easier for them to just get out of this realm. But as these things happen with artificial intelligence, with the so-called Mandela effect, whatever your thoughts are on it, be aware of these dreams and visions that we have, because as our outward reality becomes distorted, we are going to have to tap into that inner eye, that third eye, that area, that dream space, and be able to really rely on it, receive information from it, trust in it. So these are my thoughts for today. Be aware of your dreams, be aware of your visions, tap in and check out those 3 books. And of course, like I said, I was going to talk about the book of Enoch. I'm going to go deeper on the book of Enoch in another video, but I want to at least establish this, that out of all those books, out of the book of Ezekiel, Daniel, and Revelation, the book of Enoch truly takes you through dimensions. It goes into the dimensions of heaven, the 7 heavens. It goes into the archangels that rule over those dimensions. It goes into the inner side of this, because as much as there's that outer side, this heaven side deals with the heaven within, with the chakras, which are all throughout the Bible. Seldom talked about, but we'll talk about them. So this is what it is. I wish everybody peace and love. Stay up until the next time. Like, subscribe. I'm out.